go into your working folder and open up Horsey and one more time, Magic Wand. Go back to Horsey. In the beginning of this chapter, in the first lesson actually, I made some alpha channel selections. And I do believe I said I would show you how I made them. Channel selections are in the Channels panel, right over here. Right now we just have colors, red, green, and blue. If we go back to RGB, let's say for the sake of argument that we want a selection of that fence. So I did a selection of the shed, the house, and the sky. Okay, those were three that I made. How do you make those? Well, here's one way you could do it. If I pick up my magic wand, we're going traditional, and I'll leave the tolerance at 32, see what happens. And come over here and click, and I come over here and shift click a couple of times, cross your fingers, until we get what we want. Now, the cool thing is, if you get too much, don't forget, you can always press undo and try it again. Let me go ahead and get a little bit more down here. And if you get a lot of these little sparkly things, you can use your, say, lasso tool and come over here and hold the shift key down and just draw around those areas until you get what you want. So let's say we spend a lot of time on this selection and we just worked this thing and we want it because we want to use it again. And maybe you're using it like I do for training or whatever, and you don't want to have to select it just to prove a point. To make this into something more permanent, go into Channels right here and just click this button right here. It makes an alpha selection based on that selection. Let me go ahead and deselect it. If I need it again, all I have to do is Control or Command on a Mac, click, and I get it right back again. So you'd spend a lot of time on that thing, make it really pretty, use Refine Edge, we've been there. All those things to make it look pretty. But there's another way you might be able to make these. Let me do this. Let me get rid of this one that we have. Let me go back to RGB, and let's drag this one down the trash can. Let's say, for the sake of argument, that we want to select that sky. Now, there are a lot of ways that we've already used to select that sky. I'm not saying there isn't a way we've already tried. But here's just one more method for you. Look at all three channels, red, green, and blue, and ask yourself this question. Of the three channels, which one best represents a definite edge between what you want and what you don't want, like between the sky and the trees? You go to red? No way. I mean, it's there, but it's not really good enough. Green? No. Blue is definitely it. What I want you to do, if you find a channel that you think will work, drag it down to the new icon to make a copy of it, and we'll call it Sky. Now that we have our mask, what is a mask? What is an alpha channel mask? It's black and white and shades of gray. Black means masked, white means selected, shades of gray mean partially selected. Select Sky, go up to the word image and down to Adjustments and select Threshold. Now what Threshold does is it keys to the original brightness levels of the pixels in that channel, and it will either take them from the midpoint to black or to white. This is the midpoint. I can move it. Now what I'm trying to do is keep that sky white and everything else black. Now it's not going to work. It seldom does. All I care about is that edge up there. I have the edge between the trees, the barn, and the sky. I got that. Click OK. Now pick up your paintbrush tool with black as your paint color and basically paint out the areas that you don't want to be part of the selection. Just stay away from the edge. You've got the edge here. Stay away from it. Once you've got that done, you have a mask just like the masks that I made in that first lesson of the house, the shed, and the sky. Okay, I kind of like that. Now, we're not done. Let's go back to RGB. Go back to Layers. Go into Magic Wand PSD and select the sky layer. Let's turn off Great Pyramid. I want that sky. Easiest way to move a layer from one document to another is pick up the Move tool, have it active right here, and drag it over. Touch the tab, bring it back, drag it out here. It's kind of small. Let's go ahead and cheat. Let's go up the word Edit and go down to Free Transform. Let's go ahead and move it to the corner somewhere and just drag it out. I'm not even going to go proportional. I'm just going to make it fit. Maybe something like that. Double click, put it underneath, and see what? Can't do that, can you? Because that's a background. Double click on background, give it a name, go ahead and click the OK button. Now we can move it underneath. Of course, it's gone. Go back to channels, Control click or Command click on a Mac, Control in Windows to reestablish the selection. Go back to layers, go up to the word select inverse because we want this area open and that masked, and go ahead and go into farm and then select the mask right here. They say, well, okay, it kind of worked. As long as there's a nice white cloud here, it looks okay. But when you see these areas, that doesn't look good. Well, don't forget we can refine the edge. So if we double click on the mask and we come over here into mask edge. Now here's the thing. We need to shift the edge to get rid of that other sky. If we come into shift edge, it does work, but not enough. You can still see some of that other sky. So let's take that back to where it was at 0. I can never get the number. I'm going to just type 0 in there. Believe it or not, if we feather the edge, it gives us more edge to work with and gives shift edge more purchase. So if we feather just by a little, 2 or 3, it is softer. But now when we go into shift edge, we can pull that back and that'll work. Alpha channels are an excellent way to store selections so that you can use them over and over and over again.